Welcome back to the show, everybody. Now we're going to take a deeper look at one of the games that had the coolest showing at the Microsoft conference this year. This is We Happy Few, and Guillaume here is creative director on the game.
That's right. Thanks for having us on the show, Dan.
Thanks for coming by. First of all, congratulations on your big showing at the Microsoft conference.
Thank you. It was a career-defining moment for me.
Must be pretty cool, and the demo was awesome, so I'm super excited to see more of this game. But to catch people up, what is We Happy Few?
It's a 1960s dystopian universe in where everybody's high on this drug called joy to be happy all the time and forget their past. And as we're going to see here in the opening, these are the opening minutes of the game.
Okay.
Your character, Arthur, is just about to go off the joy because he remembers something by doing his daily job. So we were inspired by a number of movies. Brazil is one of them, where the main character edits and redacts history to remove all the unhappy things about their past history. And then he's going to see something that is going to make him remember something in his past. And that's going to spark a decision on whether to stay on the drug or to go off the drug. And it's a bit of a discovery process that we wanted to kind of introduce the player to the world in terms of the narrative, to kind of give the context of who your character is and what's his role in the world. So you can kind of see the reaction right here. So Arthur's seen something about himself and his brother Percy, and the first thing that he does is he reaches out for the pill. So joy is this pill that makes people artificially happy, and it also alters their perception of reality in the game. And by taking or not taking it, the player's making a conscious choice as to whether they want to see the world for how it really is, or see it through the lenses of the drug itself.
Sure. Wow, so that's a very, very cool premise to start us off with here. And I should note, we are playing this live, so this is just the opening moment of the game, right?
That's correct. Yeah, and this is real live footage. You can even see the build number at the bottom of the opening moments of the game that we showed at Microsoft at the press conference on Monday.
You were telling me right before we got started, there should be a little bit extra content in here that we didn't see at the stage demo?
We'll have time to go out in the world, and we'll have time to show and show a little bit of the gameplay and the decisions that happened earlier on in the game. We had to shorten the demo a little bit for the Microsoft press conference because we had a very specific time slot to show it in. So yeah, Victoria here, who is your boss in this crazy office space that you're working in, is making sure that you're on joy right now and ensuring that you're doing your job properly because she hasn't heard you work on your machine for a little bit of time. And she's just told us that, there's a piñata party, birthday party for one of your coworkers that you need to attend later on in the day.
And I don't remember from the demo, is the player character voiced?
That's correct.
Okay.
Arthur does speak. He's not your typical superhero dude who is capable of doing everything. He has a lot of quirky humor to him, and he's not always certain about what he's going to do. Our art director Whitney inspired herself from Adrian Brody, actually, in terms of the physical look and the general feeling of the character that we wanted to create. Again, wanting to create an atmosphere and believable characters, we wanted to start with a character that wasn't a superhero to start with, so that there could be a character arc and a progression for that character as they went through the game. So.
All right, so you've been explaining sort of like the premise and the setting, characters. But what's the gameplay like?
Well, we're going to dive into the gameplay in a couple of minutes, so you guys will be able to see it a little bit better. But you can see some of the elements that come up here. So we have a quest system. You can actually find things in the environment and discover things in the environment that will lead to quests and additional journal entries to give you a little bit of background information about the world. As we'll see when we get out in the world in a couple minutes, the world itself is procedurally generated when you come out. It is different every time. So this is not a for the faint of heart experience.
Okay.
It's definitely a game that will be pretty challenging to the players who are playing it. There's a reason we kill the player in every trailer that we've released. You can see here Arthur's in a separate office, and this is actually a picture of him from his office roommate who wants his office and is kind of devilized, Arthur. So the world is charged with micro stories that we've littered around the environment. This is something that we took from our Kickstarter backers. We went on Kickstarter 1 year ago during E3. And we've been working in a close beta with the Kickstarter backers for 12 months. And this is one of the feedback that they gave us. Is they said, Guillaume, we like the gameplay, but we want you to put more story in the world. We want to explore the world. We want to know and understand how the world got to be the way that it is. So that's a little bit the big changes that you're seeing happening in the game in the last 12 months.
We see a glimpse of something disturbing happening in this room.
Yeah. So one of the characters who was in this room was, not feeling, also great. So the doctor came to visit him to give him, a little bit of an injection of joy. And as you can see, as soon as the drug hits, he's happy. This is Uncle Jack. Uncle Jack is omnipresent everywhere in our world. He's this happy, creepy guy that we shot in live action. We have 34 different episodes of him on different shows. And he kind of represents the whole psychology and mentality of the world that the people are in when you're actually in the world.
So when I hear, I love this scene is awesome. This is one of my favorite scenes of all the E3 press conferences this year.
It's a very, very significant scene narratively for us because this is really the first time where we really clearly show the duality of what you see when you're high on the drug joy versus when you come down from the drug jar. So as Arthur hits the piñata, he's suddenly falling down from the drug and realizing what's really happening around him. And his reaction, immediately foretells the other characters in the room that he's not high on the joy. And in this dystopian universe that we've created, being on joy is really not something you have a choice for. They don't want people around them that are unhappy or that remind them of their past. So it's a society that will really enforce the drugs, upon their citizens to make sure that everyone's happy. It's actually why they wear happy masks as well.
So is this sort of the moment where your adventure begins? Are we into gameplay, like the actual game? Is this the moment where where his adventure begins? Are we in gameplay now?
Yeah. Okay. So right now we're just at the point where we're about to exit prologue, which is really helping to set Arthur's entire setup and why he's here. And now we're going to be jumping into the world. You can see the load screen here. We're going to be jumping into the procedure world.
Okay.
So Arthur escapes underneath in the underground tunnels of the subway stations and lands in this small maintenance area. And then we have a short tutorial here where we force the player to at least craft one thing before we send them off to adventure inside the whole wide world.
So when I hear procedurally generated and different every time, I think roguelike.
So definitely some elements of roguelikes in the game. However, it's this weird thing where we did certain things fairly well in our first game. Contrast, we got ambience and story and the visuals right, and that's something we wanted to keep. And we wanted to marry that with a replayable roguelike experience in a 3D world, so a 3D urban city. So it was pretty ambitious for us to start with because obviously those two don't automatically coalesce together very harmoniously in a game. But I'll be able to show how that actually plays out in terms of us integrating stories, quests, and player directions inside a world that's changing every time that you play it.
So right off the bat, obviously, your motivation, your immediate goal is to escape the people that are attacking you. Is that the overall goal of the game, to sort of escape this society?
Yes. So we have we mentioned earlier, we're coming out in games preview and early access on July 26th.
Okay.
So for the period of early access, which we're hoping, we're looking at about 6 to 9 months. We're going to be working with the community, and you'll be playing as Arthur, and your basic goal will be to escape the island. So that's the premise. You came down from the drugs. You realize, wow, this society is actually upon the precipice of collapse, and I need to get out of here before everything falls down on me. But we have been working on narrative arcs for 2 other characters.
Interesting.
That we'll be releasing with our 1.0 release. And those 2 other characters have different meta goals within their world. They're trying to accomplish different things than just escape within the world.
Wow,
so we wanted, again, marrying that. So the story is not branching. It's the story that we'll be releasing on the first quarter of next year is not a branching story or an interactive. It's a real solid linear story, but that's parceled across a world in different locations. So you can't, just look up online where to go next. You have to find it and explore the city in order to find it.
Wow, okay. So this isn't something that you're just like, just going to release and be done with it, I guess.
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, we've, again, been working really hard with the community for the last year, and we're just excited to just keep doing that with an expanded community on Steam and Xbox. It's something that it's really helped us. We had a really solid vision for what we wanted to accomplish, but it's really helped us guide where to put the most efforts in in the game. And again, the community's been they've been huge ambassadors for the game. So you can see here on the other side of that bridge, you see is a completely kind of different set of buildings and areas. So what we're seeing right now is a separation between two areas of the city. And the city is like a set of islands that are set together. So on the other side of this is where all the happy people live, the Rainbow Roads, the people who are on the drugs. You fled to where the downers are, so where the people where all the drugs collapse and whatnot. Okay. And in order for you to cross from one area of the city to the other, you're going to have to accomplish a certain number of challenges there in the actual island that you just came from. So basically what we have is we have these pinch points between large zones, which represent challenges that will force you to accomplish things within the islands that you're in and basically grow your character and get stronger and be able to get better. Yeah, so we just took Joy here. You can see the double rainbow.
All the way.
So the drug is a very preponderant component of the game. In this instance, in this area, this is a non-lethal takedown example, but in this area, it doesn't make as much difference. You can see on the top left of the HUD right now, we have the meter that's showing you how long you're going to be on the Joy for. So taking drugs, Joy will actually help you blend. will actually help you blend in.
I don't think it's a non-lethal takedown anymore.
It's not a non-lethal takedown anymore. I agree with you. So taking the drug will actually help you blend in the happy area, or where the people who are on pills are. But it comes at a cost. So it's a short-term gain to avoid suspicion. To a midterm loss. So now that we're crashing, you can see we're starting to get hungry. It's going to drain our survival needs within the world. So yeah, we're blending a lot of different elements, but at the core of it, this is a survival game where you have to take care of your hunger, your thirst, and your health, while you're out exploring the world and accomplishing tasks within it. So I explained the procedural world before. This is a special tile. As an example, there's a quest that triggered when you got to it. There's these wellies that are out harassing this poor wellie that's in the middle. And as you approach the tile and you discover a new area in the city, what we do is we're unfolding both story and quest and additional mission objectives for you to accomplish. And some of them will be part of your main some of them will be part of your main objectives of escaping, and others are optional side quests that you find that will have a risk-reward associated with them. And the important thing to remember is we have a large superset of these tiles. So every time that you play, you're not going to count. The bridge moment we had earlier on might be different. These encounters might be different. We're really trying to create an experience that celebrates replaying the game.
And how long does the typical playthrough last?
So the game that we're assembling and finalizing for assembling on early access and game preview is running about 5 to 7 hour long for one successful playthrough. Okay. So that means counting. We're assuming players are going to die a few times while they learn the rules. We're figuring the overall play time will be between 6 and 9 hours when we come out. And what we have been very careful in this instance is that you can see the character here just barf some modeling back into a paracel. This is actually one of the keys to actually crossing the bridge that we saw earlier. So we're looking at the map here to position ourselves. But we're talking about 6 to 9 hours of gameplay, I think, for the average person playing the game.
But then I guess I'm just trying to understand, like, if you die, where do you start again, and then is everything mixed up?
Yeah. So if you die in the game, there is permadeath. You will start over from the beginning of the game. And again, this bridge probably will be a different challenge for you to cross through the first island. You'll have different puzzles to accomplish in the island that you came from. We were very careful, though. I liked Don't Starve a lot, but I got really frustrated when 30 hours in, you have one moment of inattention and you die. So when we designed the mechanics, we wanted to keep that hardcore, tense nature of knowing that, if you die, that's it. You're going to have to restart. But because the play sessions are fairly long, 5 to 7 hours, we've built the game in a way. So we've just crossed the joy detector here without being high on joy.
Wow.
But we've been careful about couching it so that if you lose a combat encounter and your health drops to 0, you're not going to die right away. You're going to fall down unconscious for a short period of time, and then you're going to enter the dying state. So you always have a short time period in which to recover when you make a mistake. So dying in the game really involves you making a strategic mistake, like going into combat without any healing or bandages on yourself, and then losing a moment-to-moment, making a moment-to-moment mistake. And compounding those two will cause you to have to restart your game. So our hope is that once we get out in early access, players are going to die a couple of times. They're going to experience a couple of different worlds, but they're going to get to a stage where they understand how to strategically tackle the game well enough to coast through an entire play session.
So when you say 9 hours for the whole, to experience the whole thing, are you including dying a few times?
Yes. So I'm saying 5 to 7 hours for one successful playthrough, right?
Interesting.
So add a couple of times. You being a pro player, might finish in 5 hours.
Okay.
Again, it's hard to have exact numbers on how long these things last. So you can see exactly what I was talking about earlier. Sam just lost a combat encounter, and now he has a very short period of time in which he can recover. So he's going to get away from the people here, and then he hopefully has some bandages. So we do give you a little bit of a grace period here, where if people were angry at you, they'll leave you alone for a short period of time, where you can actually start healing yourself and recover. So.
Wow. Well, unfortunately, we're almost out of time here, but I'm really super stoked to see and play more. What's cool is that we've been playing this game for 20 minutes, and I keep seeing new things happen just over and over again, and you don't see that very often in a game. Usually it has a core set of things that it does over and over again, and here I'm still like, what is that? What's that guy doing? Where are we going now? Anyway, We Happy Few, I'm super stoked to find out more. It's coming into early access and game preview soon.
Exactly. On July 26th is the release date.
And then you're aiming for your 1.0 official launch early next year.
That's right, early next year.
All right, Guillaume, thank you so much for coming by the show.
No, thanks to you for having us.
Stay tuned. E3 2016 is almost over, but we still have a few games left to show you here on IGN Live after this.